Friends, we're back. It's InfoWars Nightly News, and in studio, we've got Tad Lumpkin, the director of the amazing animated film documenting the history of the banking cartel, American Dream, because you've got to be asleep to believe it. This is definitely cyanide to the globalists. Tad, great to have you here with us.
Great. Thanks for having me, Alex.
Listen, obviously, we're promoting the film. We've got it in the InfoWars store. You guys have been great. You've put it out for free on the web, showing it's really about the passion for liberty to fight the collectivist Borg. I wanted to have you here because last time, we had you via video connection. It was powerful stuff. I wanted to have you here to talk about your philosophy and give us a hint of some of the new projects coming out.
Well, I mean, our overall philosophy is one where we feel like the path to human prosperity and the path to having the greatest life that you can is one that's based on individual liberty. And so all our media, and the reason that we made the Federal Reserve doc was because we felt like people don't understand how these things work and how they go towards this sort of collectivist mentality that takes all people's individual identity, puts them into a collective, and just merely makes them sort of a cog in a machine.
And you're looking at who's running the collective. The collectivists never think about, well, who programs this? They're always saying, we'll have a giant computer. That's one of their things, that will run everything. Well, who programs the computer?
Well, I mean, basically what happens is you sort of got two levels of people. You have people who are completely sold into this philosophy and understand it and have reached a level of power that they can install it. And then there's the people who sort of zombie follow the power. A lot of politicians and things like that, they do these things because they just want to get ahead in the world, and they want to get rich, they want to have more power, and so they just sort of go along. Right. And then there's other people who are wholly sold out to an idea that, we need to control things not only for our own wealth and gain, but to make sure that our personal long-term existence comes at all costs, regardless of what that is.
So basically, you want to legalize freedom and let individual free will be the ultimate goal. Basically, you're an extremist terrorist.
By some people, yes. I'm sure that the extreme left would probably call it.
But if we look at history, collectivism, command and control, does not work. It creates unspeakable travesties, monstrosities. And that's why the globalists say, well, we're trying to be scientifically tyrannical. It'll be different this time. But we've seen it's not been different. I mean, even the best laid plans of mice and men often go astray. And that's what's scary about a centralized tyranny. Its mistakes are even that much bigger, and then it strives to cover them up.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And I think what happens is somehow there's this tolerance for a certain type of dehumanization of people, and then there's not of another one. I was actually talking to my partner on the way over here, and we were talking about the whole idea that it's like somehow you have movie stars wearing Che Guevara stuff, and it's cool, and it's like in Los Angeles, there's, a restaurant called Chairman Mao's Kitchen. I mean, these people killed tens of millions of people in brutal ways because they were bent on building their collective.
Well, Mao, admittedly, the Chinese say he killed 80+ million. Our government says 64 million. But, I mean, and exactly, I see young people wearing Che shirts and Mao shirts.
Right.
And, like, do they have any idea just how out of control this is?
And what it shows you is that if you brand things right and you market ideas right and you soften people to these things, they not only accept them, they actually elevate them and embrace them. And I mean, that's what we see all over in just, you take one horrific thing, and if you package it up right, somehow it no longer not only isn't horrific, it actually becomes cool.
It's sexy, it's stylish.
That's right.
And they'll defend these people. It's truly sickening, because the last time I checked, Denver, Toronto, all these mega cities have Mao worship restaurants.
Absolutely. And, that extends, too, to the political movement. And part of the role that we really want to play is being able to market liberty in the way that the leftist control agenda has been marketed. I mean,
well, notice they will market, they will sell books, films, everything.
That's right.
And so you've got to support us. But anytime a libertarian, a constitutionalist, a pro-human, a pro-freedom person tries to ever build anything, it's like, how dare you make money? And then they use this guilt trip on us when they use government to take our money and then fund MSNBC with bailout money. Yeah. That's moral at the point of a gun to take money, but if I sell a DVD or a book or if you do, we're evil.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And people, we need to go in and we need to get into the system that makes money and is profitable, because the reason mass media and the media oligarchy is what it is primarily because they do it at a big scale. So, I mean, if we want to get our ideas out there, we have to find a way to reach a mass audience, and that's what we want to do. We want to be able to tell the story of liberty in a way that connects to a mass market, not dilute the message, but tell it in a way that can rebrand it the same way Barack Obama says the same thing that Bush says before him. They're all control guys, but all they do is hope and change. And you know what? It doesn't mean anything, but people want to be a part of it.
They'll have a new slogan, but continue the exact same agenda.
Right. That's right.
And because, well, this guy's got browner skin than Bush, things must be different. Then folks figure that out.
That's right.
So now the Democrats want to throw him under the bus, get a new puppet. So, and people like a cowboy. So here comes Rick Perry to control the conservatives. Doesn't matter if he supports carbon taxes. Doesn't matter if he supports Al Gore or Hillary Care or gun control or forced inoculations or NAFTA superhighways or Bilderberg group meetings. He says he's conservative. We've got to get folks past the label down to real action and what they stand for. And we've got to build platforms to challenge them. That's what we're doing here.
Right.
And that's already starting to happen. I mean, the system just still has that old idea left. The last domino to fall is that they're still the mainstream media. They're not really.
Right.
I mean, I want you to speak to where you see this clash going in the future of collectivist control freaks versus people that love freedom.
Well, I think what's going to happen is that as we move towards a sort of rebalancing of the system, because right now, and we're seeing it in Europe, I mean, you've got all the leaders over there sticking their fingers in the leaks of the financial system, just like we bailed out all the banks, and we keep doubling down on a systemically not stable system. That system will have to realign at some point. When that does, that will cause massive disruption. And that will be the moment in time where we either get a lot more free or we're going to get a lot more controlled. And I think that you know, when things get bad, people tend to widen the sort of spectrum that they're open to. So I think what we have to do is we need to make sure people are aware and organized, and that we have the message ready to go for all the people who currently won't hear it, but we'll hear it when the pain gets a little higher.
Well, that's right. If you study political science, at least from the mainline perspective, they talk about a freezing and then an unfreezing. And during crises, societies are unfrozen. That Overton window moves where people are ready for new ideas. So the controllers admit that they will create crises to try to get people to give up more rights. But as Ron Paul and many others have said, we've got to go in during the crisis when the controls are available and actually try to steer people back towards liberty and away from tyranny. So there's a fight right now over the steering wheel. We're really lucky to be alive right now. I mean, this is a critical juncture. What's your view on that?
Yeah, well, I do think it's a critical juncture, and I do think that's what's got to happen. And I think that people, like I said, as things get worse, there will be the opportunity to grab huge amounts of people. And look, movements don't happen. It's not gradual per se. What ends up happening is, and I try and encourage every freedom fighter out there, I say, it's more like a dam. The pressure's building behind the dam, and when you're on the other side, it doesn't look any different. And then little cracks start to form and just a little bit of water starts to come out. The next thing you know, there's one drop that's one drop too many, and the whole thing comes down.
And that's why Homeland Security's racing around for the whole apparatus of police state for patriots. That's why they're so scared. That's why they've got fear in their eyes, because they've already done the analysis of the water. They know the dam's about to fail. And I got news for them. No matter what they do, nothing's going to save them. We've gotten the word out. You've gotten the word out. The question is, how painful is it going to be when that dam breaks? We need the globalists to go ahead and just give up, run up the white flag. That's why their only hope and prayer is to tell us that we should capitulate, that we should surrender, that tyranny's invincible. That's why they're throwing everything at us right now in an attempt to run a psyop on us. And I'm here to tell you, Tad, it ain't going to work.
No, well, and I think that the great thing is that most most revolutions, whether they're actual war revolutions or whether they're political and thought revolutions, are generally led and won by very convicted minorities. It's not necessarily that you got to get 51% of people to show up to a voting booth someday to get something done. It's like when you get, for better and for worse, things can change rather rapidly with a small percentage of highly convicted people. And you look at, like, for the worse, Cuba or, Russia, those were very small overthrows. I mean, Germany, things got really bad. That's how you end up getting the Nazis. On the other hand, who were the patriots of some country to take on the greatest empire the world's ever seen?
3% started the war,
right.
5% won it, and that's why the globalists want to teach us we have no power, we're going to lose, we're pathetic, nothing can beat the evil, give up, go home, GI, you're dead, Tokyo Row stuff, because they understand. They just had another big university study out that was common sense, but they did a big decade-long study and found when 10% of people believe something passionately and won't back off, they will convert the other.
Yes.
And so whether it's global warming, man-made garbage, or whether it's liberty, 1776, it's whoever wants it most. So there's this big middle mass that's kind of sucking their thumbs and just wants to watch the football game. There's the little evil group and the little good group. And I've looked at the math. That little good group is not little. Yeah. In fact, it's one of the biggest surges I've ever seen. And when you really think about it, we're going to kick their ass. Yeah. The New World Order's in deep shit, brother. Yeah,
well, let me tell you what, though, is the whole reason that they tell you, and you see so many people scoff and laugh it off, is because it's all a confidence scam. Just like the banking system and the global financial system. Right.
No one's ever got sick from Gardasil, and it's like thousands and tens of thousands, but it's just all a scammer. There's no mercury in the shots. They tried that for about 5 years. When it's on the insert, it's or Al Gore. Everyone knows the sea level's rising when it's dropping.
Yes.